first time that we would be having such high-level staff Durbar. And of course, it tells the weight that is behind it. In the first quarter of the year, when we had our first staff Durbar, the Director General indicated us that in his interactions with the Honorable Minister, he had expressed interest in joining us for the next staff Durbar that we are going to have. And so prior to today's engagement, we know and we've seen that the Honorable Minister has been familiarizing with a number of agencies under the ministry. And so we'll be counting down to when it would be our turn in the Ghana Meteorological Agency. And thankfully for us, ladies and gentlemen, the day has come and we have the Honorable Minister himself present. On this note, ladies and gentlemen, we'll now call on our Director General to welcome us to today's conversation. Let's put our hands together, ladies and gentlemen, for Dr. Eric Isman.
Good afternoon and welcome. I will begin my welcome remarks by first an acknowledgement and appreciation. Honorable Minister, I wish to begin by expressing our sincere gratitude for the focused attention and dedication you have given to the Ghana Meteorological Agency since you assumed office as Minister for Communication, Digital Technology and Innovations. We deeply appreciate your strategic engagement with both internal and external stakeholders. Notably, you have visits to the Secretary General of the World Meteorological Organization in Geneva, meetings held with the Gmet Divisional Union executives and management to address pertinent issues concerning the agency. Honorable Minister, we also acknowledge and commend several transformative initiatives you have initiated, including requests to Durbar Secretary General to support the establishment of Ghana's Specialized Meteorological Center for Marine and Climate Modeling, effort to have KNUST accredited as Durbar Regional Training Center, proposal to amend the Gmet Act to transition the agency into an authority which would enhance operational autonomy and expand our revenue base, plans to win Gmet off government subvention, making the agency self-sufficient and capable of offering better conditions of service for staff. The envisioned retooling project to provide Gmet with necessary logistics, infrastructure, and technology to modernize our operations. Honorable Minister, we deem this very transformational and transformative to change the fortunes of this organization, and we thank you so much for this initiative in the short period that you've been in office. Honorable Minister, we wish to highlight that this is the first time Gmet is holding a staff Durbar of this kind with a sector minister. We've had programs that has been honored by previous ministers, but in a staff Durbar in this kind, this is the first time. And this historic engagement is deeply appreciated by our staff, and it signifies your commitment to open dialogue and staff welfare. We are also grateful to you and the government for the appointment of 2 Deputy Director Generals to support the Director General in managing the agency's growing responsibilities. Permit me to highlight some capacity building processes and some few things that are happening in the organization. Gmet has prioritized staff development with significant effort in capacity building since 2004. Under the strategic sector cooperation with Denmark, 4 Gmet staff have been trained as experts and have in turn trained 10 colleagues as trainers. Additional training begins in September for staff with physical science backgrounds to become meteorological technicians. And this training will be conducted internally under the guidance of experts from Danish Meteorological Institute. 4 more staff are scheduled to travel to Denmark next month for expert training to make our experts 8 when completed. Recently, 38 staff completed competency training in forecasting and have undertaken their final examinations. Through Danish Fellowship Program, one engineering staff is currently pursuing a master's degree in Denmark on scholarship. International Fellowship, Scholarship and Collaboration. Gmet has signed an MOU with a WMO accredited university in Russia, under which 8 staff are pursuing degrees spanning from BSc, MSc, and PhD under Russian government scholarship. For 38 staff are undergoing an 8-month online professional forecasting course. For the year 2025-2026 academic year, 31 additional slots have been allocated to Gmet, 10 for MScs and PhDs, and 21 for professional forecasting course. Additionally, 2 staff are pursuing master's degree in South Korea under WMO and Kyoka scholarships. 1 staff member is pursuing a PhD in Germany. In total, 30 training programs have been held, benefiting 148 staff, including 4 local short training benefiting 96 staff, 22 international short courses training benefiting 45 staff, and 4 long-term international program benefiting 7 staff. As you may be aware, Honorable, Gmet received ISO 9001 certification for all services in March 2025. We are proud to inform you that Gmet will receive ISO 17025 accreditation for our calibration laboratory next month. Enable Gmet to calibrate its own sensors and those of regional partners to international standards while generating revenue. Gmet has secured approval for a new scheme of service. Posting of staff under this scheme of service will commence shortly. We await an invitation from Fair Wages and Salary Commission to begin negotiation on our submitted proposal for approved condition of service. The agency is also renovating its abandoned Central Analysis Forecast Office to a modern facility that will house Forecasting Office, Applied Meteorology Office, Research Office, Data Center and Data Management Office, Numerical Weather Prediction Unit, Electronic and Mechanical Labs, Conference and Training Facility. Pending procurement of an integrated management system under the Ministry of Food and Agriculture's FSRP project. This system will be housed or hosted at this new CAFU building. Plans are underway to revive our forecasting studio, and with your support, Honorable Minister, upgrade it to a weather and climate service television channel to enhance public awareness and visibility. Honorable Minister, we believe your plans to retool the agency will cover renovations, supply and installation of critical technologies and equipment required for Gmet to fully deliver on its mandate. We are confident that winning the agency of government subvention and amending the Gmet Act will lead to better service conditions and institutional autonomy, allowing us to attract and retain high-caliber professionals. Thank you, Honorable Minister, for your unwavering commitment to the Ghana Meteorological Agency. We look forward to your continued support as we together to build a modern, resilient, and world-class meteorological service. Honorable Minister, we believe that your visit today will motivate and reset Gmet for the Ghana we want. On behalf of staff of Gmet, management, and my own behalf, you are most welcome to this memorable occasion. Thank you very much, Honorable, and thank you all for the audience.
And so, on this note, without wasting a lot of time, the platform has been very well laid for the Honorable Minister to share with us his message at today's very special staff day. And so, it's a very sounding clap, ladies and gentlemen. Let's welcome the Honorable Minister of Communications, Digital Technology and Innovations, Honorable Samuel Nartey George.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon to everybody. Director General, Deputy Director Generals, management members, staff from district, region, my very good friend Chen Fashion. He's my friend, we fight every time. After we fight, we meet. If we were a lady, we would have been in a relationship. But you know me, I don't like. Anyway, and really, I'm here to say a very big thank you. I'm here to encourage you and wish you well. I'm here to let you know that you have a minister who is interested in the activities of Gmet. I don't just see Gmet as one of my agencies or one of the agencies that are there. I think you're critical to what we have to do, and that's why when I was in Geneva on the ITU meetings, in fact I went there to represent the president, I insisted that I needed to meet with the Secretary General of the WMO to let her know that there's a new minister in Ghana who is passionate about issues of the Meteo service, and I expect the WMO to also look favorably on Ghana and at Ghana because you have the support of government in what you do. I know that there are quite a number of challenges. I know that there are quite a number of issues. But that's why I've come here today. I've met with the union, I think about 3 times already. We've had about 3 meetings, 3 or 4. There's a number of the issues that you have, the retooling, the structural needs and all of that you have. The welfare challenges as well are very critical for me, and there's one of them that we're working to deal with. That's the overtime allowance that has been pending. When I met with the union and management the last time, I made the point clear that I want to bring an end to the overtime business. And so we'll deal with all the outstanding challenges of overtime, but then going forward, we have to have a structure that allows, you can't have overtime in a 24-hour economy. I hope you understand what I'm talking about. If the president has declared Ghana a 24-hour economy, you can't have overtime, except you're working outside the 24 hours. Then it means you've created 25 hours or 26 hours. But it has to be, we have to structure it in a certain way. And so, when Director General was talking, I asked Deputy Director General that, from Anasisan, or here, what's happening to your microphone? The microphone looks like it was made before I was born. I asked the director, your microphones are not AI compliant. I was asking Deputy Director General, I said, when the clouds have changed, I hope that I've not come to Gmet pet, then rain is going to come and beat me. Then he said, oh, rain will fall in central part of Accra, but not here. I said, we are sure. And so no boom waha. Exam. See, well, Minister, pay my last update. Let me see, Accra or yeah, Kavia. Yeah, but it's good to be here. And so, I really didn't come here with a speech or anything. I didn't come here to talk. I came here to listen. I came here to have a conversation with you. That's really why I've come. So, I've not come here to tell you anything. I've come here to listen to you. I've spoken to management. I've spoken to union. But I want to meet the staff themselves. And so, I think we'll spend the next maybe 30 to 45 minutes, if we can. I'm going to do an open microphone. Whatever issues anybody has, you raise the issues. What I can address, I'll address here. What I need to take back. And please, feel free, okay? I can assure you, this is maybe the only time you will say something and management cannot hold it against you because I'm the one who asked you to say it. So, feel free. I want us to have a family engagement. And it's one thing I've been saying. My leadership style is to carry everybody along. And I want you to realize that we're one big family, okay? We're one big family. And so in a family meeting, you should be able to tell somebody, say, share, and we will take it as constructive criticism because that's why we're a family. But so one cannot be Pia Bontina or Bia or Free Mebusiamu Bestremia, then you haven't done me well because as my family member, you should have told me that. So please feel free. It's going to be an open microphone. Maybe 30 minutes. We'll take as many as we can. Whatever issues, whatever you think that we need to do. If you think that me as a minister, I'm also not doing something right, please feel free to tell me. If you think there's something that management needs to do, something that union leadership needs to do, or something that you yourself you need to do, consider this a confession. I'm the Roman father. It's going to be open. So I'll thank you very much, and I think we should just open the microphone and let people have an opportunity to share their views. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister. And so the stage is set, like Honorable Minister emphasized. We need to be as open as we can, but of course also very decorous. And then speak about the things that we need to speak about. Hopefully we'll do this in just 3 catches. Take the first batch, Honorable Minister, we speak to them. Take the first, and then we take the very last. And so you may just raise your hand if you do have a contribution, or better so if you come in front. Mr. Yen, please can you come in front? You introduce just your name and maybe your designation, and then you go to your question. Maybe you may do, worst case, 2 questions per question, so we don't take a lot of time. We can stick to the step. And so he will proceed with this question whilst those who have questions also come. Please come. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Oh, I have a business. I can be a pastor. If you want me to evaluate it, I can evaluate it. My concern is it is not personal. Yes, I'm Mr. Yen Babalera, senior contributor at the engineering department here in Accra, my concern is that I have so many issues on ground. First of all, we have 22 stations, manual stations in Ghana, and out of the 22 stations, there was automatic weather stations in the various stations, that is the Vassal. And for some time now, the Vassal have been out of use. So we are now depending on only the manual ones. So I want to suggest that new automatic stations should be put in the various 22 stations, because those 22 stations were strategically arranged during time immemorial to cover the whole time. So if you can get automatic stations that will be mounted at the various 22 stations, and we can train the regional bosses or the district bosses how to do just minor maintenance. I realize that the problem we have in Ghana Meteorological Agency is lack of maintenance. We pay the instrument all right at the very high prices.
Can we just ask the question so that maybe ask the question so that other people get a chance, so that because if one person talks for 10 minutes, in 10 minutes I'll be out again.
So I want to know what management and the Director General are doing about the maintenance of automatic stations out there, because they have to be maintained regularly. My second question is that we made mention of condition of service. As of now, if fact, if I say certain things, it will be like I'm trying to disgrace the agency. The lower ground people, including even some middle people, have to borrow food outside for the sake of eat, and at the end of the month, somebody can borrow up 300 cedis food. I can testify that there is a book that the woman will bring food for them to credit, and at the end of the month, they will go and pay. So I think condition of service in Metro is very, very bad. Honorable Minister, with your respect, if you can work on that with immediate effect, Gmet will be very, very happy. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. 2 questions from Stations and Communications Systems. So please, are there any other questions? I ask that you kindly come in front, please. Our RMOs, DLOs, sectional heads, and all other staff who are here. Nobody has come forward yet. Okay, Union Chairman.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister. Indeed, we are grateful for your visit. Though it is better late than never. In our account balance, we said that catching for the anomaly, so to wait, it means that oh, it's been late. We know that we've been the last who enjoy more than all the agencies are doing. And that is what we are praying for. My question is this. Honorable Minister, we believe what you can do. But what will be that one legacy that you feel proud in doing or fulfilling for Gmet under your tenure? 2, it is becoming normal that mostly Gmet as an organization, we get our board late. And this is also hindering our progress. So we would like to know how soon are we going to have our board constituted to ensure fast track and smooth running of the agency? Thirdly, we have organizations that are owing us already, you are aware. But since my people are here, we need to also ask. At ministerial level, we are pleading, use your good office, to push for us so that as soon as possible, these people that are owing us can pay us so that at least all that we are crying for can be fulfilled so that we'll also be happy. Thank you very much for visiting us. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Union Chair. Please, we'll take the last 2 questions. Matthew and then any other person. Can we come in front? At least for the first bag of questions. Thank you.
My name is Matthew Wefree, Western Regional Health Officer. Ghana Meteorological used to have an average that she covered, but now it seems we have money. But the new thing is, we don't have budget. So, we have money, but we don't have budget. So, is there a way that we're going to have an increased budget so that, because we have a lot of needs, so that we're able to cater for all the spending?
Thank you very much. The last one for this round, and then Honorable Minister, they can speak to them. Please, anyone? RMOs, DLOs, everything is fine. Well,
All right, thank you very much. Mr. Yen from Engineering at the head office, you spoke about the Viasala machines, the automatic machines that were installed in some of the stations, which seem to have broken down. I think that you asked the question and answered it yourself. We need to look at the maintenance culture of the institution. And that's one thing that you must bear in mind with me as minister. When I make or give approval for any investments to be made here, I'm going to hold you responsible for the maintenance of that equipment or of that investment. Today, before I came here this morning, I have inaugurated 5 boards. And for each of the boards, I said to them, I think public, or I act public, but I think private. What I mean is, I act as a public servant, but I think like a private sector person. And so for me, there's no weekend and there's no working hours. I call my chief director at 2 a.m. or 3 a.m. When I'm working, I'm working. And that's why I keep saying that I will push all my agencies to work extremely hard, but I'll also fight for improved conditions of service for you. So that you give me efficiency and I give you reward. That's how I operate. So I agree with you that we will need to look at the equipment that's there. What's the possibility of rehabilitating those automatic systems and putting them back on in service? And then how do we even augment the fleet with fresh equipment? That's something that we will look at. I'll deal with that when I'm answering Pashtun's question about my legacy, but I think that the thing you must bear in mind, especially those of you from engineering, and I'm an engineer by profession, and so as engineers you need to realize that your equipment is only as good as how well you service it and how you calibrate it. You get it? And I remember very well, I did engineering in the best university in the world, Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. And sorry, did I hear somebody say Legon? You mean Accra High School Annex? I remember that one of the very first things one of my lecturers, who later became Vice Chancellor of blessed memory, Professor Kwesi Andam, said to us is, all the other fields, they can think. Engineers, we know. Engineers don't think, we know. And then he went on to say that in other professions, there are variables. In engineering, there are constants. So you ask 3 lawyers, give them the same facts, they'll give you 3 different interpretations. Take the same symptom to 3 doctors, they'll prescribe 3 different medications. But as an engineer, if the oscillation must go in a certain way, that's how it must go. So there are no variables, they are constants. And then the last thing he said, which stuck with me, and this is why I'm proud to be an engineer, is that you can ask any profession anything, an accountant, and he'll say to you, oh, if we're able to do this, I expect that this will happen. It should happen. There's always probability. There's no probability in engineering. Because tell me, imagine if the engineers who designed your vehicle say that, well, we expect that when you step on your brakes, the calipers should hold the pad and the car should possibly come to a stop. Maybe it will stop. Maybe it will not. Will you buy that car? So you see why I say engineers, we are special. And so engineering have a special responsibility to ensure that your equipment are well calibrated, because you see the probability that I was given based on the last report. If your engineering department is up to scratch and your machines are well calibrated, you'll be speaking with a certain level of certainty. So if your calibration is off, that's when you begin to, and I must commend you, we've gone beyond those days, but gone are the days when Gmet will give us the weather and say there's the possibility of slight showers starting sometime in the morning, stretching all the way to the afternoon, and possibly happening as well in the evening. So basically they've just told us that they carry umbrella because they don't know, but now you're able to give us some timelines and also, yes. Conditions of service. Part of the reasons why I've been having meeting with Pashtun and his group is on your conditions of service. I wish that I could just wake up and say, give everybody a 25% pay rise or a 30% pay rise. But if I did that, tomorrow I'll go to jail because I don't have that power. Things have to follow a certain process. I know that they've worked on the conditions of service. It's been sent to the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission. The ministry is working with union and management to ensure that we get response from Fair Wages and Salaries, and then we can work on it. And you see, on those conditions of service business, I said to Pashtin that Shako, you Pashtin, Ahinka is better. Sure, what we say, Ahinka. No, but I mentioned to them, I said, look, let's think about this. And your management, your extended management, so let's think about it. Do we want to remain a subvented institution that's paid by government? Or do you want me to write to the finance minister to wean you off subvention so that you pay your own salaries from your own revenue? But you need to realize that each of them comes with a certain responsibility. Today, no matter how bad the salary is, whether there's a book where they record Gobe credit or not, and I mean, Mr. Yen, it really isn't a strange thing. Rollins cannot free Gobe. And then I shall say, Rollins cannot free Gobe or Bema come. But, you know, no matter how bad the salary is, you know that government is going to cover it. Your salary will come, definitely. Now, if you go off subvention and you are paying yourself, what happens when a payment delays from one of your service providers? And today, you know, we're talking about this because we've seen what Ghana Airport Company is bringing. But what if there's a problem and it doesn't happen? What if COVID happens again and flights are no longer coming in? And so the revenue from the airport company in that period drops. You never know what's going to cause a global shutdown. That flight won't come. And so long as the flights are not coming, the airport company cannot give you the revenue you're expecting. What happens to you in those periods? You can't go back to government and say, come and give us money now. No. So it's like living in your parents' house. You better do them kakran, so when you say yeah, you are near be. Utu kotna wangsa ufia. Come do wow, but them don't know what kind silly now market it. So there are pros and cons, and we need to manage them well. I think that we would work towards winning ourselves of subvention, but only when our revenue streams are multiple enough that one incident does not knock us off stream. So when you have enough buffers, that's when you can begin to think of moving off. And I think that's when you can really begin to look at some conditions of service that may make you happy. But in the interim, we'll work with Fair Wages and Salaries Commission to see what it is. Union, what will be my legacy at Gmet? Interesting question. I think that for me, and yeah, I'll start with your board. I said today I swore in 5 boards. Tomorrow I'm swearing in another 5. And the Gmet board is one of the 5 I'm swearing in tomorrow. So be rest assured, it's not as though any of the other agencies had a board and you didn't. Yeah, I swore in the first 5 today. I'll swear in another 5 tomorrow. There's only one that I'm not swearing in yet, NCA, which I'll do maybe in about 2 weeks' time. So you are not the last to get. I mean, tomorrow we'll swear in your board, and so once the board comes in, the number of things that could have happened in the 5 months I've been minister that I have slowed down on, because I don't want, because you may not have had a board, but I was your board. The law says that where in the absence of a board, the minister acts as the board. But I like to allow institutions run, and so there are things that I have put on hold pending your board coming in tomorrow. And today, most of the boards that I swore in, I told them the things that are priorities, things that I want done between now and end of year. You know, so tomorrow I'm going to give your board some kind of direction on some of the things I want done relative to the retooling of Gmet, relative to your structures in terms of buildings, relative to management as well, I know that there are still some gaps in there and all of that will be dealt with. And so my legacy is going to be one of repositioning Gmet to make it a regional leader, well equipped, well resourced, and well structured. That will be my legacy if I have 4 years here as minister. And I'm going to start work on them this year. You would see the movements this year. You will see the beginnings of what we're going to do and the roadmap. I mean, some of the things will need 12 months to complete, some will need 24 months to complete, but I'm confident that before the election in 2028, you would see the visible legacies of Sam George and John Dramani Mahama in Gmet. Payment from other agencies, yes, we're looking at that. In fact, part of what we're doing, part of the legacy work I'm doing is a revamp of all the legislation in the sector. We're currently working on 15 new pieces of legislation, and Gmet is one of them. We are upgrading Gmet from an agency to an authority to give you more regulatory control and power. And with that, we're also looking at new areas where you currently do not charge, that we can by law mandate that you begin to take fees on. In fact, with the Fees and Charges Act, I had to intervene personally to get some of the fees that were proposed by management, the finance ministry slashed the number of them. I was out of the country when I got wind of it, and so it was a weekend. It was a Friday. I got the document, I think, on a Friday evening. Someone from finance shared with me. I called Director General Administration Friday. I said, send it to the agencies on Saturday for them to work on it. Send them back to me on Sunday. I reviewed them, and then on Monday they went to finance to argue and defend for some of the numbers to be raised back up to the ceiling. So, like I said, I don't do weekends. If I was to say that weekends we don't work, finance was going to take a final decision on Monday. I got it Friday night. Would have waited till Monday before I called you. Would have lost that opportunity to fix it. So we will continue to work to get things done, but we will leave a legacy here. I can't help myself. Whether I like it or yes, I'll leave a legacy. And so we'll work together to make it. It will be our collective legacy, working with you here. Matthew from Western Region, the North, the Met office there. Yeah, you see, that's part of the challenges we're dealing with, and we'll continue to engage finance on the budget issues. I'm sure you're talking about the budget ceilings, the capping that happens to your budget. So yes, revenue comes in, but then there are ceilings that do not allow us to retain all of that money here and to do a few things, which would also increase the allocations that come to the region, right? Is the allocation you are talking about? Allocation and more. Yeah, so as we manage to take the capping off for you to be able to retain, and even what the budget ceilings for the revenues are, because what I realize is at times what is even budgeted as your ceiling is below what your total revenue is. So when you even bring in excess revenue, you cannot spend up to the 66% of the total revenue, 66% of the capped amount. So it's 2 layers of capping on what you can bring in, and then on what is capped at 66%. So we'll look at least, even if we can't move the 66%, allowing it to be a flexible 66% on total revenues. So that then that gives you a bit more room for flexibility. So we'll work with them as we go into the budget for next year to see how we can push for some of those. Thank you.
Please, you can come forward and ask your question. Okay, so we take first from Mr. Good afternoon, Mr. My name is Samuel. So happy you're here. My name is Samuel. the recruitment that really increased the number of staff that Gmet was supposed to have. But unfortunately, when the new government came in, those who were recruited had to go back. So in that case, it's like we go back to square one as we were before. So it's one of my greatest concern. And then secondly, too, we also have 16 regions now, but we still have 10 regional meteorological offices. Under your watch, what can be done to increase these meteorological offices across the country? Thank you.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Honorable Minister. Welcome to Ghana Meteorological Agency. For my question, before it will come, I would just want to brief you about the weather. I'm Felicity Ahafianu from the Central Analysis and Forecast Office. So for the new month that we are entering, expect the same weather conditions: cloudy, dull, relatively cool. Temperatures both morning, afternoon, and night will be very good, and then much uncomfortable, especially for the elderly and then the younger ones. So as you are going back to your constituency, please educate them on our behalf so that they protect the younger ones. And then also we'll be having light rain or drizzle. Currently we are having some light drizzle. Then as times goes on, it's likely to intensify. So now, I've worked here for 26 years. I joined the agency in November 1999. And I work at the airport now at head office. One key issue that confronts those in the capital has to do with accommodation and transport. And under the resetting agenda, I think we have something called the affordable housing. So I want to find out what you are going to do for Gmet staff in terms of accommodation, especially those of us in the head office or Accra. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam Felicity, for your question on accommodation. This is the very last round of questions, and so we may take an additional 2, and then we should be done with our questions. I think Minister has preempted a lot of the questions that you wanted to ask, and so maybe that's why the questions are not coming. But Mr. Paul Stevens is here, is the Dean, of course, of the Regional Met Officers. Maybe we'll give him the platform now. We take the last question from the DMO's rep, and then we should.
Thank you very much. Mr. Paul Stevens, Northern Region, RM. Minister, we have a problem with land. As of now, Metro, we are in court. Some people are taking our court cases, and we are in court. And some of the land, people are still encroaching. So I'm appealing to you to use your good offices. I know we are in court, but we have something we call ORA. We went to court before ORA came in. Can ORA do something about it for us? Because I've been going to court all the time. But I thought it was a small case, but I'm suffering. I will there, the lawyer will call me, go and file. And actually, always I'm worried DJ. I will call DJ tonight. DJ, they haven't paid this, they haven't paid that. Actually, he's doing well for us. But my problem is court. So if ORA can come in, I know we are in court already, but can ORA do something for us? Number 2, can the office try to at least fence all the courtesies for us? Because the people are still encroaching. Normally they talk about money. But I'm appealing whether you can use your offices for some of the land to be fenced for us. Thank you.
Oh, you have for 16. Is that the question? So our district Met officers in the senior representative who is here, if there is any question also from the districts, anyone I thought I just wait and then we can ask our question. Please, from the districts. Okay, you are here. Boli, Navrungu, Bolgatanga, why? Okay, why? Wow. Please, any last contribution so that we can. Okay, maybe I'll hand over to. Of course, our airport stations are also here. Sunyani Airport, Wa Airport, Kotoka, Kakrandi Airport, of course, Tamale Airport. So, anyone at all? Anyone? Oh.
Mr. Usuanta asked about the recruitment and the need. What happened with the recruitment? I was told you got financial clearance and they did the first batch of recruitment, and I think there was just around 150 left. That a few that were done that were affected by the Chief of Staff's directive, we would have to reapply to the Finance Ministry for financial clearance, because that financial clearance has lapsed, and so we need to do a proper staff audit and analysis, HR analysis, to see if you need those staff and what kind of staff do you need. We're not just going to employ because we need to employ. Because again, don't forget, it's goods and services compensation. And they say the fewer the merrier. It means the more we bring in here at this rate, right now, if you are not careful, the book it will go beyond 1 month, it will go into 6 weeks. So we want to make sure that we don't just recruit because we want to recruit. We need to do that. And I think that's something I want the board to oversee. And so once your board comes in place, we'll have the board look at that. Felicity, thanks for the brief. And I was just telling Deputy Director General that he told me that it was not going to rain. Now he's trying to use technicality and tell me this is a drizzle, not a rain. And I told him I've seen the staff pushing their chairs back. So we're there as a trail course of every city. But I'll take the weather outlook for the month back home and work with it. But the issues of accommodation and transport, I know, are a critical thing. And I think that it even dovetails into what Mr. Stevens also mentioned, because you don't have enough accommodation. Some of the accommodation is also being sold off and taking away from you. Like I said, we would look at what we can do. Look, I'm a very practical person. Will I be able to find money to come and start building accommodation for staff? I'm not sure. It's a promise I won't make, because I'm being real with myself. Me, yes, I'm a politician, but I like to be real. They met me here. I'll tell you I can do it. If I can't do it, I can't do it. And that's why, again, I'll wait for the board to come in. I want the board, it's one of the things, I'm telling you all the things I'll tell the board tomorrow. They're swearing in. One of the things I think they should look at is a barter arrangement that is in the interest of Gmet. So take, for example, you've got 20 acres of land sitting down there. It's there, people are encroaching and stealing it. If you look at the need of Gmet over the next 20 years, will they need all of that 20 acres? Or can they make do with 10 or 15 such that you can commercialize that 5 acres, and what you do is you are not selling the land off, but you are getting a barter with accommodation for your staff. So a real estate developer who wants the land, instead of him encroaching and dealing with, like in the case of Tamale, I'm being told is with works and housing, selling off your property without your knowledge. That real estate developer who's gone to works and housing and taking that land, if you as Gmet had engaged that person and giving him a portion of the land that you may not have immediate use for, and bartered it off for, say, 6 bungalows or 8 bungalows, you'd have had value for your land. I don't know if it makes sense. And for me, I would want the board to explore this with management and union. Because the last thing I also want is for people, and every single arrangement of that nature must come to the ministry for approval. Because I don't want people to then begin to do deals behind the scene and begin to steal and do their own private deals for this. So I would want to see that management has done due diligence, union has been consulted and they are comfortable with it, the board approves it before me as minister. I'll give them the green light to proceed. But I think that that's one of the things we can easily do. And when I spoke about my legacy here, relative to retooling and restructuring of this place, that's part of the arrangement I'm looking to do. You've got some prime land here. And the question must be asked, what value can we use on that, from that, for the benefit of the institution? Because today, if you need about $60 to $70 million to retool and build your accommodation and all the things you need, I'm not sure that I can get that for you in the next 4 years from finance ministry, because the competing demands are many. But if there is an asset that we can leverage on in a responsible manner, I think that that's something the board should explore in partnership with management and the union, so that it is benefiting union. And you see me, because I before we came to government, the last 3 years I was on the National Media Commission board as a commissioner, and we looked at GBC. One of the things I am very interested in is, at times people come and say, we'll do 5 bungalows, and those 5 bungalows are going to the top management, or just regional manager and a few top people, and most of the people down there are left hanging. What they will use to do 5 bungalows, they can use to do apartments. So do one 5-story apartment that has 20 apartments instead of 5 individual bungalows, and let everybody get a bungalow. Because if you do that, and on each floor you have 4 flats, and you even do 5 stories, that's 20 bungalows. 20 staff get benefit than 5 management people getting bungalows, and then the rest of the people are left hanging there. So I would rather, those are some of the considerations that I think we need to look at in dealing with the issues of accommodation. And then definitely with the retooling, it's not just going to be the equipment. We'll look at a few vehicles to get back home and all. We'll look at all of that. That's part of the retooling plan. And so I think that I've answered the issue of accommodation and transport, the issues of land issues as well. Once the board comes in place, they're going to do a proper audit of what your land holdings are. Let's see what is in dispute, what is not in dispute that we can immediately protect, and then how do we fight for the rest. I've told the MD to write to me on the Tamale issue, so that I can also, on the basis of that complaint, I can engage my colleague at the Ministry of Works and Housing to understand from the ministerial level, and I have a very good relationship with Honorable Kennedy, who, for all you care, the ministry is not even aware of it. It's somebody sitting in one of the departments trying to do their own deal, so that between me and my colleague, brother minister, we can resolve the matter and get to deal with it. It's the same way already. I'm sure civil aviation has already started indicating that they are under pressure from their minister. Because I'm talking to the minister for transport and saying to him that civil aviation has to do what is right. We'll deal with it at the ministerial level and get some solutions further down. I think that I've answered all the questions, right? Or, yeah? I want to thank you very much. Thank you so much for this engagement. MC, it's going to be over to you, but bring it to an end. I have to go back. People are waiting for me in the ministry. I still have to go to Parliament as well. So I have a meeting with the select committee. So yeah.
For the wonderful thing that you are doing and you are vision for the agency, and that has demonstrated here with your engagement with us. I made a point that you are open to dialogue and welfare of the staff. Has really been demonstrated here. We thank you very much for this opportunity. We believe beyond the board, we can still have access to you. And we hope after the establishment, installing of the board, we will leave us to the board alone. We will still find a way of getting to you with the support of the board to get some of the things done for Gmet. We would like like to thank all of you for making time to be the minister and comported yourself very well, asking very important, significant questions that the minister has given very wonderful answers to. I believe you are all satisfied. There's a lot of work for us to do, as he said. He will give you all what you require and then expect reward from you. We also have responsibility to support our economy. And so let's get back to work and work hard to make him proud and the government proud. We wish we could have taken the minister around, but unfortunately he has other assignments. But we will steal some 10 minutes from him, just 10 minutes from him before he finally leaves us. So, Minister, not wasting much time because we want some 10 minutes of your time before you leave us. We will bring the meeting to a close. MC will close us.
All right, thank you very much. So we've done exactly 60 minutes of our engagement here today, and we are grateful to all of you for joining us. Of course, I've seen the Director Administration and the Ministry also here, Mr. Alfred Nartey. I cannot say I've not seen him. So on this note, yes, he's at the back. Mr. Nartey is at the back. Yes. All right, so we pray, Father, we thank you for bringing us to a very successful end of our engagement. A lot have been said, the vision has been shared. Our prayer is that you water it for us and then cause all things to work together for our good and things to fall in good places for us. In Jesus' name we have prayed. Thank you all. Amen.
Wonderful.
So this is what we're talking about. Can I get to the Jewish movement? Yes, perfect. So this is our institutional website, and we provide information by now on this website. The extra information is to bring the go to our website. You can get all the information. So you say here app, a mobile app, so that you can be able to get this on the go. Now we are sourcing it from all different places, but actually we are feeding into that information that is developed in our podcast. So the alerts I was talking about here, these are the common alerting protocols, and anytime there's an alert is triggered over here. So these are expired events that are shown here, and based on these alerts, if you should click on any of them, it should give you where the alert is happening, the severity, and then it's color coded over here. The most extreme one is in red, and the minor one is in blue. So these are the guys who are doing a wonderful work and providing all this information. It gives you the regions where it's a minor effect, you can even get it up to the strict level, and describe it and even instructions as to what you should do should that event happen.
Just to add to this one, the next step is for the information to be on everybody's phone across the country. So once we release the information, anyone in Accra, anyone in Ibu, anyone in Greater Accra will have to get it in the notes, and it's time. And that is the next.
You guys work with NCA on it. I've given an instruction, policy instruction on it. So we're calling it the emergency broadcast system. So it is well.
So we are working with Moffat, we are working with Moffat, so giving them the forecast.